But little Ray is not going to have it easy.
Ray's quite unfortunate. She's the only youngster in the group at the moment. In a normal situation, you'd probably have more babies, so the attention gets shared out between the group, but the fact that she's the only one at the moment means she's the focused attention for a lot of animals, so she probably gets a bit more of a hard time than perhaps normal. She's also the daughter of one of the lower-ranking animals, so she's already quite low-ranking, so she has to learn her position within the group.
There's a risk that the attention could get out of hand.
They can be quite rough with the babies. They do sort of pull their legs and arms quite a bit. It sort of gives the baby, I think, a bit of a workout, whether it likes it or not. Sometimes they can get a little bit too aggressive.
So it looks brutal, but actually this is perfectly natural behaviour with macaques. It's just their strategy. In a wild situation, if it's weak, if it's not able to get around, then that's using up valuable resources for the rest of the group. It's all about making sure that animal's healthy. It's very much survival of the fittest, being dropped in at the deep end, if you like.
Keepers will need to make sure little Ray comes to no harm.
Hopefully they'll be good, but yeah, it's always in the back of your mind that maybe they might be a little bit too rough. We'll wait and see how they behave.
So basically when I arrived and I'd gone into the yard, I'd noticed there's something going on in the group. You know, a massive big fuss, and it just builds from there.
Give us a shout when you know what's happening.
There's no sign of Zizi or her 2-week-old baby.
Screaming and shouting. Obviously, you want to make sure that you've seen the baby. Hearing that noise, you automatically fear the worst. Then some of them all trooped into the yard. Patty is stolen the baby.
Patty has never had her own baby, and now she's taken Zizi's, she's not about to give her up.
There's a little bit of a holding of breath. Is this going to be it? Are we okay here or not?
Mum Zizi can do nothing but stay close.
Zizi's following Patty around. Tina's following her around as well.
And it's not long before one of the group's males muscles in.
Carlos is jumping up and down and running around and he's very upset.
But a rescue attempt by Carlos could backfire.
He is a big lad. It could end up a big fight. The baby could get severely hurt or killed. Zizi's obviously concerned, but not trying to take the baby back. She's staying very close. I think basically she doesn't want to rock the boat. If you rock the boat, you'll sink.
Zizi and Carlos aren't letting Patty and the baby out of their sight.
Stevie was only 2 weeks old at this point, and Patty is a non-related female, so unusual set of circumstances.
If she tries to suckle, obviously Patty hasn't got any milk, so she'll start whimpering and crying, which will raise the tension in the group. Zizi and Carlos will get very upset. It could end up that the group physically take Stevie away from Patty. It could end up with a tug of war and be literally pulled apart.
4-year-old orangutan Tripper, who is physically underdeveloped, has had to fend for himself. His mum's attention has been elsewhere.
So Emma's had a baby now, really healthy young female. Unfortunately from Tripper, it's quite a tough time for him.
In the wild, orangutans use branches and leaves for shelter. At the zoo, these are replaced by pieces of Hessian sack, which Emma uses to keep her new baby safe.
He's getting pushed away a little bit by his mum. He's quite vulnerable at this stage, so it's something that we're really watching closely.
Female orangutans have long gaps between pregnancies, so they can focus all their attention on rearing one child at a time. But Tripper's developmental problems mean he isn't ready to share mum.
He's cold. He hasn't got the beef behind him to keep warm. Especially he hasn't got mum to keep him warm. I'm a little bit worried about Tripper though.
The orangutans are free to roam both inside and out.
Come on, Emma.
But as soon as the keepers spot Tripper's discomfort, they act quickly to bring the whole family inside.
So as soon as the keepers saw that Tripper was cold, they encouraged mum in and Tripper to follow just to make sure they're kept nice and warm.
But even though Tripper's now indoors, the keepers are powerless to get his mum to pay him attention.
Unfortunately from Tripper, he can't stay with mum all his life. Now that his mum's busy with a little one, then obviously it could be a good opportunity for him to actually learn to be independent, learn how to play, and that's going to be really key to his development.
After 5 minutes, the dominant male, Dylan, realises there is a new female in the group and raises the alarm.
Males will attack the female chimp coming in just to make sure they are totally submissive. The whole lot of them can set on her.
Perhaps sensing a hostile welcome is being planned for her, Via takes refuge.
I can't think of anything more frightening than being chased by a whole group of chimps. Chimps give Freddy Krueger nightmares.
The keepers check the CCTV cameras for any sign of them.
Primate 3, just say I haven't got visual on the cameras at the moment.
Chris, she's coming now.
She's escaped from her new home and climbed into an area strictly off limits to orangutans. And she's brought the kids along as well.
Darren, we have 7 orangs in Monsoon. 3 are contained in an outside enclosure. 4 are loose inside Monsoon.
Subis has escaped by forcing a small gap in the fence.
We were taken aback a little bit to realise that they would squeeze through an even smaller area than we thought possible.
Yeah, it was a bit Houdini-ish. There's an unpredictability about the situation. That individual could be best friends with you through the mesh. And then suddenly you haven't got the bars in the way to protect you, so you've got to treat it like, you know, that animal that you work with day in, day out is dangerous.
Subis's adventures could be about to reach new heights. She's heading towards an open skylight, which would let her out into the rest of the zoo.
My main consideration is how we're going to contain and return the orangs.
There's an escape at Chester Zoo. Orangutan Subis and her children have broken out. They are on a walkway high above their family home.
It was a complete role reversal. They were normally where we were and we were where they were.
You know 100% what's going to happen. You You know, would she return to the enclosure? Is she going to find an iron bar and start smashing the roof to bits?
We chain the doors and then we shut the roof vent. And then it's just, we've got a really good CCTV system in there, so we can watch them from a safe distance and work out where we're going to bring them back in.